as part of the infrastructure that was integrated going in and out of the gates. We have this transfer of details that we need to do. We need to know what trailer is coming and what the driver is, because it's a restricted area. So that's the main documentation that we need, and part of the gate in, gate out process. I would like to show you, actually, we have a promo video, which I will do quickly. So I need to stop sharing and share another screen, just to give you what it looked like when we did the demonstration. The demonstration was performed end of September, beginning of October. Oh, I don't have view. This is just to give you some visual how it looked like in a trailer, Ro-Ro terminal. And then we dive into the Metro Retro afterwards.
There is immense potential for autonomous solutions on ports. By introducing vehicles to this environment with driverless technology that allows them to navigate and make independent decisions, we can minimize errors, speed up and simplify processes, and bring stability, consistency, and efficiency to ports operation. We are now really at a time where there is a huge opportunity for ports to embrace the advantages that autonomy offers. We are excited about what the future holds with our technology.
Terberg has been providing machines to ports for over 50 years, and we have really seen the port business evolve. Our customers ask us to support them in the changing and challenging environment of autonomy. Terberg is an enabler in intelligent horizontal transport, and we really understand the importance of autonomy as the industry advances. Heavy-duty operations require machines with a robust, safe and integrated drive-by-wire platform for automation in ports.
For DFDS, it is interesting to participate in a project like this, to assess the potential added values from automation and its effects on the terminal. Automation will have value to the terminal because it potentially enhances safety, flexibility, productivity and sustainability, which in turn will improve our service to our customers.
So that was the promo video we did after the demonstration. So now I will share the Metro Retro, and we can dive into sort of this vision canvas that we're supposed to do. I just want to again state and highlight that the Ro-Ro terminals that we operate are some years behind the development in container terminals, which is based on lack of standardization on how a container and a trailer looks like. There's some more manual interventions in the Ro-Ro transport. And then finally, how we load ships in Ro-Ro ships and container ships, they vary. So for container ships, you mainly use cranes of some sort, so they're fixed, and we drive onto the ships with our platforms. But now we need to spend 5 minutes on the port vision statement and this vision canvas. Again, I will ask if everybody is in MetaReto, and make sure to make your stickies public. Anybody not in?
Yeah, I cannot access. It looks like it's full or something like that.
Okay, yeah. Then we simultaneously keep a discussion here in Teams, and then we use the chat to put in some notes. I will make sure to do that. I need to also make sure that we need to discuss. So the first 5 minutes now goes to discussing on the port vision statement, and we've put in that autonomous vehicles can seamlessly transport cargo across port terminals, eliminating the need for manual drivers. And here I changed the wording so that we're focusing on all ports and not just the Ro-Ro port. And so we've put up 5 themes that we need to solve also as part of or some of the KPI objective drivers for autonomous vehicles and terminal tractors in port areas. We need to solve outdoor autonomy. Here is the technical use cases for the vehicle that they need to solve. Autonomous vehicle will help save costs. We also need an automated planning fleet management, so the operating system. Autonomous vehicles should provide efficiency gains in loading, unloading ships, and efficiency operational KPIs that are set on ports. And then remote supervision is also a key objective. Any thought? I'm not sure if this was the best build up or how to do it, but any comments, challenges, whatever we see here? What is a port vision statement, and what are the themes we need to solve? And what should autonomous vehicle help the terminals in the future? How should it help? Anybody wants to chip in?
But do you expect us to comment on the port's vision statement or in the sub? I don't clearly understand what is expected.
Comment on the port vision statement and yeah. And
maybe I can. I'm a bit the devil's advocate, but I don't see that clear the saving costs, because autonomous vehicles are quite expensive, at least now, and of course maybe you will save cost in personnel because you will not need drivers, but the investment in the vehicles and the return of this investment, I don't see that clear that in the short mid-term you will be saving costs. In addition, the investment in the infrastructure in the port to enable this autonomous operation is not that clear, that at least from my perspective.
I think it's a value point. I think we also need to take into consideration that electrification is happening in all parts of society, and that's maybe the short-term challenge that most logistics, shipping, transport companies are facing now. So that adds costs to the vehicles, and then we are adding autonomous driving technologies on top of it. So yeah. I've put it into the challenges as a note here, if that's okay, Lucy. Yeah, and then we have. I'm sorry, you're only listed as OTP. With raised the hand. I'm sorry.
Yes. This is the official email. Yes, I will just put this. This is Vision. I'm involved in representing in Move. We are the VP6 leader in MODI. Yes, I cannot access to the sticky notes, but I just had one comment for the vision. What we see with, for example, the Port of Barcelona is member of our cluster, and one of the issues, I don't know exactly if it's reflected, it's concerning the infrastructure and how to make sure that the infrastructure is properly digitalized for the arrival of this like pilots or these automated vehicles, because sometimes what we see is that there is still a lot of work to do, since if we intend to accelerate the deployment of CCAM solutions, we should consider the infrastructure. So I don't know, suggest maybe to add one of the items on this, and making sure not only that the vehicles are ready, but also that the entire operations, the infrastructure is ready, because in some of the ports that we're cooperating with, they are still realizing or conducting like non-digital operations or very analogic operations.
That's also one of my soapboxes when discussing this, that we need to digitize the entire workflow on the ports if we also have automated vehicles. So yeah, that spans from the office and infrastructure and what happens on the terminal and ship side. Yeah. Other comments? Then I would maybe also add, so from my presentation and what I've said, in the outdoor autonomy, there are some technical use cases and issues that needs to be solved, at least for the RoRo terminals. How bulk and mixed, so container ports are fairly standardized also on only operating containers. Then we have DFDS and other logistics companies. We usually also have a mix of different cargoes on terminals. So managing interfaces and both from the vehicle platforms, but also internally in our operating system is something we need to solve to make this a reality. Then we dive into supports. What are the enablers that you will need as you work towards your vision? Again, I encourage a discussion here in the room, and then people on Metaretto, you can add sticky notes here, and I will, based on the discussion in the meeting room here, also add some sticky notes. And if anybody put any sticky notes in, please feel free to just speak up and discuss what you put in as a enabler for autonomy in ports and what we're working towards in our vision. So I'm not sure if it's anybody from this room who put in stakeholder engagement, but if anybody has any views. Also from previously, maybe here I'm just freeballing to get a conversation going, but from the conversation with the 1 to 5 years, we also had there's a shortage of drivers and for ports, maybe terminal workers getting experience, skilled labor force could be, or to mitigating that risk, it could be one of the supporters.
If I can say regarding this stakeholder engagement, at least in Spain, the port workers have a lot of power, and if they are against these autonomous vehicles, it can be a huge problem.
Definitely. Yeah. That's also something we're discussing in DFDS when we're talking about automation. And I think the manufacturing production industry had this discussion over the last 10, 15, maybe even longer with the automation of production lines. So that's definitely also part of the discussions when implementing autonomy. Other neighbors you can think? Yes.
So regarding regulatory compliance, I understand that ports are considered private areas. So I understand that, well, I don't know exactly how it works because I'm not an expert, but do you really need a lot of regulations, or being a private and confined environment, it's more if the port authorities are taking responsibility of the autonomous vehicles? Do you need really the government or the authorities to allow the operation?
We didn't in award. I'm not sure if anybody's more, maybe somebody in the room is more qualified than me, but from DFDS, we expect them to have their certifications in place and all their safety validations following industry standards. We need to make sure it's a reliable machine and vehicle that we are implementing on the terminal. So in the award project, we did a thorough safety and security analysis of the vehicle. But it also ISO standards and sort of.
It's important to make sure that the vehicle is safe. But who is requesting this? The port authority to allow the pilot, or the authorities to allow the activities? That's my question. Of course, you need to make sure to somebody else to take responsibility if something happens. But being a private and confined environment, I understand that it's not as difficult as an open road or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's true. We didn't have to have any specific approval from port authority, or I think they also, going back to stakeholder engagement, it's important to have a close dialogue because there's multiple stakeholders involved in these port environments. So port authority, most likely a security company also represented in the use case. So there's no, at least not what we did here in this demonstration, and there was no port authority or authority involved in the approval. But once we go on public road, then we need it. Yeah.
So maybe the challenge in the port case is not that much the regulatory compliance, but how to convince that the self-certification about the safety, it's convincing for others.
Yeah. I'm not an expert on this matter, but I don't know if we have anybody from a container terminals or with insight onto how AGVs are certified and sort of validated to go into operation. No, maybe not. But in the award use case here with the Turbo and Easy Mile platform, they're certified to ISO standards 26262, I think it's called, and then following some unified certification or globally agreed requirements. But also in DFDS, we're also looking into and have been piloting autonomous trucks or been part of some projects. The MODI project we're also in. Then there's going on public road. It's definitely a different scheme. To me, it's also about who's actually responsible for the approval. Is it the OEM, the vehicle provider, and how much is we as a logistic company involved in the approval process? Other comments?
Maybe one from me, Mads. Maybe something to consider is the resilience of the new system compared to, in terms of flexibility against disruption.
What kind of disruption are you thinking about?
Well, it can be a malicious intervention, you know, everything that is IT related can be easily hacked, or might be something disruptive that we have seen in the past. Of course, is ultra performing when it works. Then I don't know when it comes to be flexible, because you can always ask a driver to extend the shift, overlap, or things like this, and maybe give some more flexibility. Also, because you know better the system now. In the future, I don't know how flexible can be something that is partially self-managed by the maybe artificial intelligence, something like this.
Yeah. So, one of the main value propositions we see from autonomy is also that we can move cargo in off hours, so night times, night shifts, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my arguments here is also you need to look at the operation, maybe for public roads, but loading a ship, then the ship is in port on a certain time, and we need to go out of port at a certain time.
Yeah.
We can delay the operation. But for other use cases, definitely we can use AI. Yeah. Other comments? Other enablers? Challenges? I think challenges are always easier to talk about. Maybe look at some enablers, what we will need to work towards in our vision. But it could be AI. Andre, automated planning?
Well, yeah, the AI I think, is behind. I mean, is an opportunity and possibly a threat at the same time. Of course, it speed up the operation, probably, yeah, but then it can be easily attacked, and then you have to create this is related also to what we called before infrastructure. It's not just the physical infrastructure, it's the IT infrastructure as well.
Other comments? What we also in DFDS say here is one of the enablers is also digitalization in general, and I'm not sure how to put it correctly, but using data more clever to plan our operation. Database decisions, maybe.
Wouldn't it be harmonization also an enabler? If all ports get an agreement that autonomous driving is the best way to deal, it will make things easier.
Other comments? Then looking into the middle here, these steps represent a series of action that aim to transform, in this use case, the port environment. Then we need to identify, we need to identify some steps here, some 5 bold steps in order to make this vision a reality. We need to identify some steps in order to.
Mats, do you need my help?
Yes, thank you, Laura.
What was the question?
Yeah, so this last part here about the 5 bold steps, what is we need to do exactly? So we've covered some of the challenges and the enablers.
So now we have to actually define what are the steps that we have to take in order to achieve that vision. So the bold steps are literally the actions that we have to take as port or as different. I mean, for example, here DFDS. Imagine if I am DFDS, then what are the steps that I have to take in order to achieve this big vision that I have got, which is, let me quickly go back to the vision of the port. I've got all the boards in front of me. So the port is autonomous vehicles seamlessly transport cargo across port terminals, eliminating the need for manual drivers. So if we want to achieve this in 10 years, starting from this year, what is the first step that I have to do? The fifth step is actually when we are closer to the use case. Here you have got some examples, I believe, which says define clear objectives, then technology assessment, but then these are just examples. So what are the steps that we have to take in order to achieve that vision? Now I give the floor back to the participants. I see everyone is quiet. So help us defining some steps that needs to be taken in order to achieve the vision.
And I think one way to do it could also, please put some comments here in the Teams meeting and also in the Metareto, and then we can try to talk about it on the fly and when they come up, also going back to some of the enablers and challenges. I, for one, see the need to get the I called it the return on investment, the ROI, the investment case, which Lucia, you mentioned at the beginning on saving cost.
Maybe I would suggest to start with identifying the pains that can be addressed by the CINEA, because the return of investment, it might not only be in money, but also in solving pains. So if you have problems on finding drivers, maybe it's not the matter of the money you save without having to hire, but solving the problem that you don't find drivers to hire. So it's, of course, defining clear objectives is important, but these objectives should be linked to the pains that the port has. I'm just saying because I cannot put a sticky notes because it's crowded, so I just speak.
So, Lucia, if I heard you correctly, it is aligning, right, the objectives with the pain points. Yeah,
for me at least, it does not make sense to define objectives if there are no needs to be covered. If there are no problems, you don't need to change anything.
Or maybe identifying the needs.
Yeah, but needs, problems, shortcomings, challenges, as you may prefer. But you need to showcase that you are going to improve something and the investment will be worth it.
Then the next step is showcasing that it works, right?
Defining KPIs.
Defining KPIs.
It would be linked with the my previous comment about harmonization. If you define general KPIs, it will be easier to spread the word and to the other ports to adopt the CINEA.
What were some other challenges that you discussed previously? It says actually technology adoption, safety, incidents. Can you also take them as some steps actually that needs to be taken in order to achieve the vision?
Change management with the staff. Change management, I was meaning
okay.
To convince people that changes are good and to have them on board.
Mhm. What else?
Yeah, I think what, as Vincent also said, digitalization of infrastructure.
Which step should I put it?
I think it's one of the first steps we need to do.
Yes. Maybe here.
Can you help me quickly?
Yes.
Mhm.
But you want me to
No,
state
just
it
frame it.
like a goal?
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
well, it would be just for the physical infrastructure to be ready from a digital point of view, like PDI to be ready, if you want to put it in short, because it's not enough that the vehicles are ready for the deployment on CICAM, but also the PDI, the physical and digital infrastructure, should be ready in parallel.
And then once they are ready, what will be the second step?
Once they are ready, you mean?
Yeah, once we have, for example, the PDI ready for the AV's deployment, what will be the second step?
Second step would be to assess that everything works, I guess, some kind of define KPIs, I like it, and some kind of assessment to like we're doing in MODI, to compare regular operations with operations with CICAM technology. So for me, it would be just to conduct some kind of parallel test, assessment, to see that everything works properly and the outcomes are the ones we envisage. And the fact that we are introducing automated technologies and connected doesn't worsen the operations. On the contrary, makes them more efficient. It makes them like I don't know, more cost affordable or time optimized, etc.
May I comment on these PDI aspects?
Go ahead.
I may suggest to have a step back and as a first step to make a diagnosis of the PDI already existing in the ports and to define the minimum set of infrastructure. Because also related to the return of investment, of course, there is a lot of infrastructure, digital and physical, that can be deployed. But if we really want the ports to adopt CICAM, it should make things easier. So maybe have a first diagnosis of what they already have in place that can be used for CICAM deployment, and then identify what should be the minimum that they should deploy. And then the third step would be to deploy it, and then the next step already mentioned. Because, well, sometimes maybe it's enough, depending on the port, and just having a separate lane. And maybe the vehicle doesn't need to be so reliable on the B2I communications, and the vehicle itself can perform the most of the operations. Sometimes, if the environment is more challenging, they would need to have this B2I, but at least to have this first diagnosis.
Yeah, I've put diagnosis of what they have, also diagnosis of PDI, and define the minimum requirements. And then in the second step, I've put like defining more KPIs, then conducting pilots, then assessment. The fourth step, kind of more towards change management. But then reminding again the vision, which is autonomous vehicles seamlessly transport cargo across port terminals, eliminating the need for manual drivers, which means that there shouldn't be any safety driver onboarded. Is there any further step that we have to take from the technical perspective, as well as change management and acceptance, stakeholder engagement, that I see here also as enablers, but also I see here digitalization.
I think we need to identify some of the vehicle technological challenges, some of the vehicle use cases that need to be solved from now and before we have unmanned vehicles on the ports. We need to, so the award addresses harsh weather conditions. We need to have some sort of validations, verification for level 4 driving in ports, and maybe connected to demonstrations as well. But there are more technical use cases that we need to address simultaneously with sort of the operational side that we've discussed so far. But also on the PDI and LOHA, I can also. But part of the MODI project, what's being discussed in the use case we are in, is also some sort of standardized, globalized communication protocols in PDI. So vehicles communicating to digital infrastructure.
So centralization. Yep. Okay, it seems that we don't have time left, so I give you 1 more minute to wrap up while I'm also calling back everyone from the rooms to the main room. So see you in the main room maybe in around 1 minute or something. You have the link above to join the main room. Just click the link and you will be transferred back to the main room where we will discuss further recommendations to the. See you in a while.